very pleased to welcome you to this virtual Mothers of Alumni event. We are particularly excited to host Ann Patchett today. I am also sorry not to see all of you in person because I love the imagery of old friends gathering together in the dining hall, of maintaining the friendships that we cherish at MBA, and the visits that we enjoy annually at this special event. We were in the middle of a wonderful year when the coronavirus affected the campus and the rest of the world. We left school on a Thursday for spring break in March, and sadly have not returned to the campus since. It is certainly a loss for our senior class, but in the spirit of being clear about their successes and goodness, I should tell you that this has been an exceptional year for that class. They probably have the strongest college list I've seen at MBA. They've done remarkably well in almost every arena at the school, leading our debate team to the #1 title in the country, the mock trial team to a championship in the region just before classes finished in March, to many other spectacular achievements across the boards, from music to theater to science and math challenges. We have had a spectacular year at MBA, and the school is doing extremely well. We have our strongest enrollment ever. We are excited about the campus developments with the new wellness center and the building that we've done up at our Long Mountain properties. I look forward to sending you imagery and details about both of those events in the coming months. Most of all, I have been reminded in this time of remoteness that the community at MBA is strong and intact regardless of the circumstances. And probably one of the most important insights I've had is that community is what is really most important at MBA, just for the reasons that I started out by saying how much we value your participation each year in the school. I am now pleased to introduce Ann Patchett, who is a neighbor of MBA, a well-known author. Friends around the country often ask me about Ann and her writings. I have read and followed her books closely. I've also been extremely proud of the work she and others have done in pioneering the great bookstore Parnassus. I recall being in Paris once and visiting the famous bookshop Shakespeare and Company and finding a little booklet Ann had written on small bookshops, and it was profiled right in the center of the store Shakespeare and Company. We've had wonderful partnerships with Parnassus and Ann, having authors come to the campus and being extremely proud to help launch her last several books on the campus. My wife and I have gotten to know Ann well on a personal level. She and her dog Sparky frequently accompany my wife on walks around the neighborhood, and we enjoy stopping and visiting with Ann and talking about a variety of topics. I am grateful for her help in making this a special event, and know that all of you will enjoy hearing from our friend and our neighbor, Ann Patchett.
Hi, Montgomery Bell Academy alumni mothers. It's Ann Patchett from Parnassus Books. One of the things that I really miss about being in the bookstore with customers. I'm actually in the bookstore every day now, mailing books to people. But the thing that I really miss about being there with customers is having the chance to recommend books. So I'm staying at home, you're staying at home, and this is a perfect, perfect time to read more. And I'm really happy that Brad Gioia asked me to talk to you today about some books that I'm really loving that might help you also get through this difficult, quiet time at home. So everybody wants different things, right? Like maybe you want something thrilling, in which case get the new John Grisham. Maybe you want something scary, in which case get the new Stephen King. My mother just finished it. She loved it. Personally, I do not want to be scared. Right now, I want something that's calm and kind and comforting and smart. So those are the books that I'm going to talk about today, the books that I personally really got a lot of pleasure out of. First one, Writers and Lovers by Lily King. This is such a gorgeous book, and I fell into it and couldn't get out. It's about a young woman who wants to be a writer, and she's working as a waitress in Boston, and it's about her love life and her struggles to find herself and her time and get over the grief of having lost her mom. And yet it is oddly a very happy, kind, tender book. I have given this book to so many people, and every single person that I've given to has loved it. And when we take orders in the store and somebody says, I don't know what I want to read, but I just read Writers and Lovers by Lily King, get me something like that. So highly recommend this if you haven't read it already. Next book I want to talk about, Redhead by the Side of the Road by Ann Tyler. This is a very short book. It's about 180 pages. It's very quiet. Almost nothing happens in this book. It is so calm. And yet, I have to tell you, when I was reading it, you couldn't have pulled it out of my hands with a crowbar. There is something about Ann Tyler and the way she writes. I just feel like she is in charge. She's driving, she's taking care of everything. She's looking for the best in people, but she's still really, really smart. So, this is just a story of a man who lives on his own and has had problems keeping up long term relationships and how he learns to solve those problems. So, very, very quiet, loving, comforting book. Um, Book that I love this year called The Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich. For my money, Louise Erdrich is the best writer that we have in this country right now. And I think that this is Louise's very, very best novel. It's a little more challenging than the other two. I would hope that this is the book that will win the Pulitzer coming up for next year. It is based on the true story of Louise's grandfather, who was in the Ojibwe Nation in Minnesota, and he fought to have tribal lands not taken away from his people by the government. And he was a night watchman in a jewelry factory. And this is his story. It's also the story of a young girl named Patrice, who everybody calls Pixie, who's trying to save her sister. Again, very, very good, loving people, a lot of very tender, moving family relationships and of long-term married love. It's a really, really beautiful book, and it will make you think. It's a little bit longer, and I thought it was very engaging. Um, One of the things that MBA asked me for, some books that would be specifically comforting in this time if you were staying at home. And I really thought about that a lot. And while I imagine that many of you have already read Late Migrations by Margaret Rankle, I'm going to put this up one more time because it is one of my all-time favorite books. It's a memoir in very short essays. Each essay is just 2, 3, 4 pages, very, very short. It's about the natural world. It's about gardening, family, childhood, memories, motherhood, love, the planet, responsibility to one another. It's such the perfect book for this time. And it's also a great, great book to give as a gift. And Margaret Rankle is married to Hayward Moxley, who is a beloved English teacher at MBA. So there's a double connection there. Another book that I love for comfort Everybody at the bookstore loves this book. It's called Tiny Beautiful Things, Advice on Love and Life from Dear Sugar. And Dear Sugar was an advice column that Cheryl Strayed used to write. Cheryl Strayed wrote Wild. And I love this book. I go back to it again and again. It is not Ann Landers. It is people writing her questions about how to deal with problems in their life, and then she writes these long, long essays in response. And they're so loving and so deep and profoundly felt. It's it's just a book that I feel like anybody would get something out of. And I'll tell you that Reese Witherspoon just ordered a copy of this book for every member of the graduating class at Harpeth Hall because it was the book that of life advice that she wanted to see these young women go out the door with. So Tiny Beautiful Things. And I'm going to end with a cookbook because we're all stuck at home and we're all cooking. And this is called South by Sean Brock. It's a great, big, beautiful, beautiful cookbook. And as you know, if Nashville has a brand new revelatory cuisine scene, it's thanks to Sean Brock. So he has started our best restaurants and he is starting so many more exciting new culinary projects for Nashville in the future. So we have signed copies of this, great gift, and it's really easy to use, and the recipes are terrific. The shrimp and grits recipe, absolutely fantastic. So that's what I recommend. And now I want to tell you something. I really appreciate the fact that so many of you have been ordering your books from Parnassus. And I want to remind you that whenever it's possible, even if you're not going out, try to shop local because the businesses, a lot of us are struggling. And if you want those businesses to be okay when this is over, that means that you have to support them now. And so many people have come through for us at Parnassus, and I am so, so grateful. But keep it coming, keep the orders coming. We have a great website, and you can go on, find all sorts of book recommendations. If you follow us on Facebook or Instagram, I do videos constantly in which I am putting on ball gowns and talking about different new books that I love that are coming out. So we have a lot of things going on at the store. We're just starting curbside delivery. We just want to make sure that the people who work for us are safe and the people who shop with us are safe. But more than anything, we want to make sure that you're reading and you're getting the books that you need. So from my heart, on behalf of myself and my partner, Karen Hayes, thank you so, so much. And thanks to MBA for giving me this opportunity to talk to you today. I appreciate it.